going back to the whole childism idea, it would be looking at like, how do you treat your kids? Do you treat them the same way that you treat your partner, your colleagues, your neighbors, random people in your community? Do you treat them all the same? Or do you find that you are treating your kids with a more power over? And I think of it as power over versus power with. So power over would be I'm kind of controlling or coercing or manipulating, I'm wanting something. And oftentimes we want them to change their behavior, to change so that we can show up in the way we want to as people. And we're like, oh, it's really hard to do if our kids aren't listening, if our kids are yelling, if our kids are whatever. So it takes a lot more emotional maturity to show up in the way that we want to in the world, even when other people around us aren't, including our kids. So if you find that you're reactive, which would mean like there's little time between input and reaction, something happens with your kid and almost immediately you kind of go from 0 to 100, or you tell them to do something and they don't listen, and after 5 or 6 times of saying that, you kind of lose it. These are pretty normal parenting things. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that's me, like there's nothing wrong with you. That's very normal. And it was inherited and it was the only way we've kind of really known. Also, people-pleasing behavior. So feeling like I'm in control of other people's emotions. I need to make other people around me feel happy. Feeling really uncomfortable with big emotions. So if you feel anger, if other people feel anger, if you feel sad, if other people feel sad, and you don't like how that feels and you're really uncomfortable with it and you try to kind of avoid that, that's another kind of thing. Another one would be internalizing things. So if my kids have some, negative behavior that I don't appreciate, and I make it mean that I'm not teaching them right, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm a bad mom. Also internalizing failure. So if you make a mistake, you do something wrong, and then you're like, oh, I'm a terrible person. There's lots of different ways we can notice that we need. I honestly think it's helpful and supportive for everyone to do their healing, because even if you have done healing, gone through things, there will always be another layer. I was just doing an Instagram live with someone and I said, it's like an onion. We're like peeling the layers of an onion. There's always more layers to this. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to help our kids maybe just have a little bit less layers than what we had. It's not to like, not even have them have the onion, like they're going to have something. Mm-hmm. But it's just helping them, setting them up as much as we can, and ourselves, and that there'll always be more layers for us too. I don't imagine that there would be a time in my life, even like if I lived to a quite old age, where there wasn't some way of being or thing that I could be growing or healing or learning. So yeah, so I think it's a lifelong process, but it's just deciding to start that process. A lot of us are so busy and distracted by things happening in the world that we just go, live our lives, and don't really turn inward, pause, reflect, think a little bit more about our thoughts. That's what I work with. I do a lot of mindset work. So about our thoughts and our feelings about us.